does feel good to finally have a use for the skinny cable ties that you never use in cars. Right, welcome back to Tools and Track. Unlike the previous episodes, all of which have been totally whiteboard hungry, this one we're going to actually get things to work. So, as you can see, I have started to wire up what I know I can wire up very, very simply. Now, I've been using these little hobby construction tails. I didn't really have a lot of faith in these, but they're surprisingly good. I thought they would just be like little pins that sit and rattle in the holes, but they actually click together really well. They're like pins, but connect like spade connectors, to the point where I'm actually worried that I'm going to start bending things because of the amount of torque I need to put on it. So they definitely go in and stick in. Anyway, so what we've done, this is a diagram of everything I've done so far. That means we now have our joystick controller fully wired. So there is 5 terminals in this. SW, still got no idea what that's supposed to do, but I know where it's been told to go. So that goes into port 2 on this side of the Arduino. We've got VRX and VRY, that's the X and Y signal wires. They go to A1 and A0 on the analog input side, which is fairly simple. And then similarly, the thing has to be powered up by a 5 volt on the ground, which goes to 5 volt here and the ground up the top. Nice and easy. While I was at it, I started to get a bit more adventurous and I used a male to female little tail and plugged in the 3 servos that I've got. Now, I say, right, plug in, I've put the signal wires to them. So we still need to deal with the servos to actually power them up. Remember, 5 volts, they need 7.5 volts. So the next stage is I need to calibrate this transformer thing that I've bought in order to give it 7.5 volts. Right, I've decided to use, I don't even know if you can see me here, hold on. This is where the professionalism probably starts to drop a touch because this is just a car battery, 12 volts, but it's going to represent the 12 volts that's going into the car. Now, as I need to calibrate the voltage in this, I thought, well, this will be over 12 volts, which worried me with the Arduino, but I thought, well, actually, it's going to take whatever voltage goes in and drop it down to exactly what I tell it to go to, because this has little dial pots on it that will drop down the voltage to exactly where I command it to be. So, this might as well just be a straight plug-in to the car battery when it's done, and we'll just use a car battery here to do the function test. So, got 2, positive negative in and a positive and negative back out. Yeah, like I said, the professionalism drops a bit. Cable tie and the pin. So what I will do is slide that into the gap. Oh, and we have a nice green LED to show me that it is not blown up. Right, 12.5 volts. So now we need to do the adjustment. And just twist this wee guy here. Check again, 12.5 volts. Another quarter ton. There's probably a faster way to rig this up permanently, but 12.5 volts. Right, 2 pots, one of which does current and one does voltage. Well, that's pretty cool. So the current one, you wind in fully, anti-clockwise, out all the way. So sketch. Okay. 11.5. Right, this is good because what it means is there's huge amounts of resolution here. So we are talking about, yeah, barely a volt. Right, we can rattle this down a bit. 5 volts. Too much. Just bear with me while I have the least interesting section ever to be produced on YouTube. 7, we tweak. 7.45. Good enough. Right, now that's calibrated to a battery, not a DC input for a transformer that, powers everything else. What I'm now thinking though, the Arduino is going to need something to power it. Now, like I said earlier on, it powers up with a laptop through the USB, or it powers up with a plug into the wall 240 to 12 volt DC or 9 volt DC transformer. But I'm not going to have either of those in the car. It needs to run off the battery. So I guess the simple solution would be buy 2 of those and set the other one to 9 volts. Yeah, that solves my 2 power conundrums, doesn't it? Right, I've managed to turn my unit into the holding pen for Maplin's closing down sale. We have more adjustments midway through this episode. I have purchased more things, but most importantly, I have found the oldest and slowest laptop ever built. This is an old Lenovo thing that I bought about 10 years ago. It'll do, I guess. I mean, I said it would do until I turned it on and I realised that I don't even think it's I think it's Windows XP. It's so bloody old. But fundamentally, we're installing the Arduino operating system on here. So the Arduino will take a code to be programmed into it, and that'll allow it to operate. But, well, you need to load it on. So you've got to plug it in with a USB, which we now have, and then upload the code onto it so that whenever it turns on, it has that code that will allow it to do all the things with the actuators. What I have also done is only power up one servo, right? So the reason being, I've only got one power output from this little 7.5 transformer. Now I've got power going into the Arduino through its own capabilities, so that will power on without the USB plugged in. But there is a way to make more 7.5 volts go to the rest, but it's just a function test at the moment. I want to make sure when I put the code in, one of these directions will move one of these servos. If I know that that works, I'll know the code at least makes sense. Steady. And then we can then start moving on to adding more servos on. So that's the plan at the moment. The big hurdle is going to be establishing whether or not the AI generated code is code. Because it may just be complete and utter nonsense. I mean, up until this point I've assumed it's just going to work, but there's no guarantees on anything at this stage. So in about 25 to 50 minutes, once this thing installs, we'll upload the code onto it. It would be good if it's got a sense check. We'll see if it can do a sense check. And then we'll just burn it onto this, power it all up, and hopefully things work. Right, and in typical old Windows fashion, it made a noise and now I don't actually see any form of Arduino software. So that's good. Right, cool. Okay, yeah, extract all and then, oh no, there it's there. Double click. Oh, it's loading. Right, this is quite exciting for me. It's not often at the age of 43 you'll find new things that you've not done before, but this is very much a new thing, computer coding. I don't know if it's because I've never had to, but I've certainly never wanted to. It's just a thing that's not really me, like fishing and gardening. Although, side note, I've done a lot of cutting of grass recently, but that's a different story. You can tell I'm there just waffling because my computer won't load things quickly. Oh, here we go. Allow access. Yeah, I don't care. Do it. This is the bit where the Nintendo Wii music starts to play. Oh. It's begun. Right, first up, select board. Well, that's going to be the... Oh yeah, that's not open. We should plug it in. No board selected. Right, give us a minute. This isn't a shock. So I've asked ChatGPT to alter the code for this new little joystick that we're using instead. I've ran it through the Arduino software. Now it looks like it checks it before it sends it to there, and it did, and it was like, yeah, that makes sense, which is great. So there's no checksum errors or whatever the hell it's called. So I've uploaded it, and then I went, right, let's go, and nothing. And yes, I did have the 7.5 volt on there. It won't work. So, I mean, that's not a shock, really. I mean, I did hope, like, it would just be simple enough to upload it and then it would work, but it didn't. The problem I have is the reliance in ChatGPT is a finite thing, and telling it it's wrong and trying again, I need to tell it why it's wrong, and I don't know why it's wrong. So, let me have a wee coffee and I think. Okay, I broke 2 rules in that impending doom situation where this wouldn't work. And I've solved them. So the first rule, what did I say at the very start? I'm not going to rely on ChatGPT. As soon as that didn't work, I was like, right, okay, maybe we need to change the code, maybe we need to do, and I actually started typing. I stopped typing because the G&H in this laptop doesn't work. So that laptop needs to go away. And then I was like, right, let's just sense check it. And that's when I discovered the second thing that I broke the rule on. Common grounds. So I've had a wee look and I don't have any great way of making a shared common ground other than using a breakout board for the Raspberry Pi, which we bought a while back. But that does have a number of shared pins. So we'll get an actual block that has these pins. I'll order one up. But now we have the 7.4 volt transformer going into that shared pin, powering that relay, and also going back to the earth on here. And that, my friends, gives us this. Which is awesome. So the concept now works. And yes, that is technically doing 2 functions in one actuator and not 1 function on 2 actuators, but that's just a wee thing we'll need to tweak. There's obviously a bit of wiring or a bit of code. That's easy resolved, but it works. So great, the bench test for phase 1 is complete. Now we need to hook that up to a pedal, but that's in the next episode. I'm buzzing. This is all going the way I hoped it would. So I'm going to tweak and tidy this in the start of the next episode. I will also, obviously, continue the diagram so you can see what I've done. And we'll probably discuss the code as well once I tidy it up and make sure that that is doing exactly what it should do. Because I'm sure there are hundreds of people out there that need to adapt their low costs for their quadriplegic friends. But until then, obviously like, bell and subscribe because this is the only way we grow. And patreon.com/toolsandtrack. Like I said, all of this is funded by Patreons who are all now helping Danny become a driver again. So yeah, until next weekend guys, drive safe.